Hello and welcome. This is Michelle Castillo here, and today I would like to share with you how to build a beautiful website with Thrive Architect. Thrive Architect is a page builder. If you're not sure what it is, hopefully by the end of this presentation you will be completely clear about what a page builder is. We've been using Thrive Architect and other tools that are provided by Thrive Themes for a few years now. We absolutely love it. Whenever if only possible, that's what we use to build websites for our clients. And I would like to share this tool with you. So hopefully you can benefit too. So before we dig in, just want to show you a few examples of websites that we have built using the Thrive Architect. Just gonna scroll down to give you an idea of how it may look. So what you will soon realize that it can look basically any way you want, any colors, any font, any structure. And this is actually the beauty of a page builder. You have a lot of flexibility. And finally, this is our own agency website, again, built with the Thrive Architect. So in order to show you what the Thrive Architect is about, I am going to start with a blank page. This is a fresh install of WordPress, and I will show you step by step how I build a page using the Thrive Architect. So the first step is to install the tools that we need. And the way it works with the Thrive tools, those tools that are developed by the Thrive Themes company, is that they have a plugin called the Thrive Product Manager. And once you install it and install the license that you have purchased from them, you have access to install any of their plugins or their themes. I have installed already the Thrive Leads, which I'm going to use alongside the Thrive Architect. And also, I have installed the Minus theme. Now, this is not a must. You can use Thrive Architect with any WordPress theme. But if you have no preference for another theme, I highly recommend you take one of their themes. It just makes it easier and reduces the likelihood that any problem will arise because of compatibility issues. So now that we have these two installed, I can create my first page. So I'm just going to click on Pages and click on Add New and give my new page title. Just going to call it New Page. I'm going to publish it. You could work in draft mode. I prefer the page to be published. And I'm going to launch this Thrive Architect. So the first time it comes, it actually pulls whatever WordPress put into place. I am going to take a template. They have an entire template library, but I'm going to use a blank template to begin with. I'm going to choose this template. And now, once it's installed, I have a blank page apart from one text placeholder here, and we can start building our page. So this is the Thrive Architect editing environment, and it has a few important areas to it. On the right, when you click on the plus button, you see all the different objects that you can add to the page. And then when we add object as we go along, on the left you will see different options that are available for every object. So pages are typically built by creating background sections. It's an easy way to manage the page and also allows you to create different backgrounds to different sections of the content. So I'm going to add my first background section by just clicking here and dragging it into the page. I will want some text in it, so I can show you also how you can drag and drop objects into or onto each other. In this case, I'm going to drag the text. And just one thing you probably want to make note is that you see here how I have the text, Now the text is included in the background section, which is included in the Thrive landing page. I can click on any of these, and here on the left you see the parameters that pertain to this object. So if we talk about the background section, there is a lot of parameters here. We are not going to go into each one of them. They are not all very important. The most important aspect of a background section is the actual background. So let me show you how that works. You can have different types of background and you can stack them up. Let me take an image that I've already prepared and upload it into the site so that we can show you how that works. So let me upload the image. I do have demo data here that I have prepared, and I have a beautiful image of a beach that is already optimized and not too big of an image. You can see the width is 1920 pixel, which is important. The height is not that important. And now when I insert it to the to be the background of this section, this is what we have here. Of course, it's not yet really nice, but we will work on it and make it nice. I can, let me add a little bit more text here. Not before, I'm going to make the text here white. So you see when I click on the text, I can, I have the main options. Every object has the main options that pertain to that, to it. And I'm going to change the color to white so that it is easier on the eye. And I'm going to also, when it comes to text parameters, you have this little object here that gives you an easier way to manage the attribute. So I'm going to center it. And I am also going to change the font. So you have access to a lot of different fonts. I'm going to use a Google font that is called Playfair Displays, a very fancy one that I like. And maybe I change the text too so that it makes more sense. So this is typically where your marketing message will go. And you probably want to add a little bit more text under that. So let me add another text object right under the text that we have here. You see it comes in again as black. I'm going to change it to white and make it central. And yeah, of course, it has right now it's just a placeholder of enter your text here, but you can change it to whatever you want. Now the background is still a bit too bright for me, and this is where I can easily make it different. So let's go back to the background style of this background section. Now I can add another layer, and I'm going to add another layer. Let's make it white for now. And well, right now this layer just simply covers the picture, and this is where the opacity comes into play. So I can set it up to be whatever I want. There is this slider here, and I can change it so that the background image has an overlay on it, and I can control how strong the image shows and how the contrast with the text shows. I am going to also start using some colors that are more matching so that we create an actual good looking page. But I do want to show you how you can select a set of colors that you can easily use whenever you edit items on this page. So you see here I have the white. Every time you might have noticed I had to enter the actual number of the color white, but there is one tool here that I can always click on the plus sign here, and it will save the color for me. And in fact, this one saved the white color with opacity 41. I can use it again and again. So I'll stop the recording here and I will add few more color shades here so that we can use them as we build the page. So back to our color editing, I'm actually going to change the color of my text. And as I promised, I've added a few colors that we can use when we build the page. Here I've added a few blues and greens. I'm going to make this text blue. And we can go back to the background section and back to the background style and play with this solid color background. I'll have to unlink it from the previous setting, and then I can play with the opacity and make it as transparent as I want. So I will leave it here. And just wanted, since we're here already, I wanted to show you other options of the background style. And one of them, which I really love, is the gradient. So if I click on gradient, it actually gives me the option to create a gradient color background. And it is, you have to be careful with this feature. It's really easy to create ugly backgrounds, but let me show you a few tricks of how to make it not that ugly or actually beautiful. So I'm going to actually use the same color that I've used for the layer, the overlay solid color. I'm just going to use white. So you see this square here indicates the one end of the gradient, and this one is the other. So right now it is set to be black, and I'm going to replace it with white and also change the opacity to be much lighter, so much more transparent. And this side right now it's 100. I'm gonna make it just a little bit less than 100. And one last thing I'm gonna do is I can change the direction of the gradient by changing the angle. So I can change it here to be from left to right rather than bottom up. So you can play with it. You can also add another dot in the middle, so that here I'm going to add 2 dots actually. And what this allows me is that if I have both of them at the exact same place, I can actually create a complete half of the screen will be all the same color. So if I have this dot is at 89, I actually going to make it 90. It's round, and I'm going to make that one 92, and this one is going to be 92. And now I lay them exactly over each other. Well, it's not really easy to see what I want to achieve here, but you can see that all the way to the middle it's completely white, and this is when it starts becoming transparent. So you can play with it and create a lot of effects that will make your page very special and look unique. I'm going to remove the linear gradient for now because I want to keep it looking a bit simpler, and I want to see the beach. One last thing that I want to mention right now about the background section is that you can also control the height by in few ways. I'm going to use the layout and position parameters of the background section. So you can actually control the padding. So if I say that I want padding of 100, this means that the object, the text here, has 100 pixel away, is 100 away from the top of this section, and I can also have 100 at the bottom. This makes the section bigger, and it doesn't matter that the text is much narrower. I have this text here. Let me just make it centered, and I'll change the color here to be the same dark blue that we had from before. So yeah, so this is the beginning. This is the header. Very typical another is to add a button here that invite people to get in touch or schedule a free appointment or maybe download a freebie. So let's add a button here. So here there is a button object. I'm going to drag and drop it here. Of course, we want it to be with nicer colors. There is or more fitting colors, I'd say. So button has different possible styles you can choose from. You can also actually these styles actually control different parameters that you can control manually. For example, this one has corners that are circle. You can control the exact amount of how circle they are and so on. But these are pre-made templates that are available for you. So I will take this one and apply, and then I will take a different color, one of those that I have set before. I can also make the button bigger, and I can have it in the center or on any of the sides, and I'll make it medium size. And yeah, I really like the ghost buttons, as they call it, but I will keep it with a more simple styling for today. Let's put it back in this color that I've checked. So here we are, we have the top of our page, and let's go to the next section. So creating another section, I'm going to take yet another background section and just drag and drop it under the first one that I've added. And here I would like to add 3 columns that each will describe a service that you may have. So I click on the add object, and I'll take the column object, place it inside the background section, and I get different options for how many columns I want and how I want them to be organized. I'll take the 3 column option. It's not the end of the world if you choose one structure and you want to change it later. It's really easy. All you have to do is you can actually drag the border once you have something in it. So yeah, it's just an initial setting. And here I like to add an icon. So they have a icon object. By the way, if you can't find a specific object, you can just enter the text into this search box, and it will bring the only objects that have this set of letters. So it's easier to find objects. And let me drag and drop this icon here. And in a second, I get a long list of optional icons that they have in the library, and I can choose one of them. Let me just choose this triangle. Could actually be anything. I can control the color of the icon. So let me make it blue. I can make it as big as I want and as small as I want. And yeah, and I want to have an icon in each column here, so I can just duplicate. This little symbol helps me duplicate objects, and then I can drag and drop it to the next column. And now I would. So these 3 are just a symbol of a service that my fictional business has. And let me add the text under each icon. I'll center it and give it a more charming color. And easily just click on the text and change the actual text. Again, I can duplicate and move those text objects around. Now you see that how this is a little bit lower than this one. It's because I didn't place it in the right place. As I drag things around, you see that there is this blue text that says above colon, or here it would be above the text or below the icon. So it helps you know where you're placing things. Here I just dragged that and it said under columns, I believe, and I can drag it back under below the icon. So they're all the same height. And I can make this a bit bigger text. Oopsie. Now that I change it to the set H3, it actually changed the color back to what it was before. But now do actually this again. It is just faster to duplicate and drag and drop and not style each one separately. Okay, so now I want to add a description of every service. Again, let me drag a text object. Right under this text, I'm going to have another text. I will color this with something more generic, the dark gray that I have here. I'm centering it, and again, there will be a longer description here. Maybe I should head to the Lorem Ipsum website and get some standalone, some placeholder text. So this is pretty easy. I'm just gonna grab some text here and put it here. I like to pass and match the style so that it doesn't take the style from the previous page. Here I duplicate it again and again, and I have the 3 service sections. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really like the small space between the top section and these icons, so I can make it bigger. Here I'm going to take the background section and go again to the layout and position and make the padding 60 pixels so that there is a larger difference. So yeah, so this it's pretty simple. You can let's say that you really go with icons, because you could put an image here, you could put whatever you want, but let's just show you what happens if I want to change the icon. I just click on this icon. Here I go to the main options and I can choose another icon. So it again can be any of those. Let me just take these leaves, for example, and I can take a whole different icon for every area. I can give them different colors if I want. Of course, the copy is a very important part of all that, and I'm building this page without any consideration for the actual copy, which is not the right way to build a homepage. You will want to know what your copy, what's the copy is going to be before you start building your page. But this is just to show you the power of the Thrive Architect. So I hope you forgive me. Next, I would like to show you how to add the navigation. So it really depends. You can use the Thrive Architect to build a landing page that will have no navigation at all, or you can have a navigation. And for that, they have there are few ways to add that, but when we build the page the way I showed you, you can add a header, and this goes under the advanced settings. Oh, I am sorry, I don't remember where it goes. It goes under the global option, and you can add a header. So I don't have any headers defined on this website, so I will create a new header. And you have different styles to choose from. I'm going to take the one that is called Basic Light, and I will edit. Oh, they want me to have a name for it, so let me just call it main header. And the header, when you want to edit your header, and you just have to click the edit header here first, and you can edit it just like any other item with the Thrive Architect. I'm going to change the background to white, and I am going to remove this text. There is an icon here that I don't want. I want to have an image, so I can add an image. I'm going to upload just a logo that I have prepared in advance. I'm going to delete this old column that was added, and I can also size the image so it is smaller. My menu here can be edited to be different styles. This is the hamburger, which is the more modern style. I can make it a wide one, but I'm not gonna go into that at the moment because I don't remember the different options and I don't want to waste your time on that. The nice thing about this header is that you have the header is a global object for the entire website, so you can reuse the header on different pages, and if you edit it in one place, it will impact all the pages that use the same header. So it's like unlike more conventional WordPress themes where the header is always the same across the whole site and you have no control. With this way of building a website, you can have the same header for several pages, but you can have another header for another set of pages. If you can, maybe because of the design, you want a different background color, or maybe you want a different header. If you have a membership area, you can have a special header for the membership area and a different header for pages that are public. Let me just reduce the height of this header by reducing the margin around the image. So you see, we've looked at this before, the layout and position. Every object has this layout and position section, and there is parameters such as the margin that say how far other objects need to be from it. And then you have the paddings, which is some kind of internal padding of every object that will impact the objects that are included in it. So right now we're editing the image. It typically doesn't even have anything in it. So I'm going to reduce the margin to basically 0. But we still have the column that includes the image. It is all 0, as you can see in the columns, but the background section had a default padding of 10 and 10, which is the small gap that you're seeing here. And I think that I like it that way, so I'm going to leave it that way. So here we are done, and I can go back to editing other aspects of the page. Now, if you wonder how this page looks like, at that time we can actually, we always have to save the work, and then I can preview the page, and this is what we have right now. So as you can see, this section doesn't look that great, and I can make it look better by, for example, because these are all, we have 3 columns here, I can set some of the parameters of the columns. For example, I can add borders. So let me add a border. No, I'm not going to do that way, because right now I'm working on the entire columns. I don't want to do that. I can click undo here, and I will work on each column as by itself. So I am actually going to have add a little bit of a background. I'm going to make it light gray. And I will have slightly circular corners, and also will add a shadow. So take this drop shadow, and because now that I have a background to this column, you see that the text is too close to the sides of the column, so I can go to the layout and position and have a little bit of a padding so that it looks nicer. Maybe make it 10. Okay, so that just that you see how it looks now. See, I have it looks much nicer. I can do that for each and every column on this set of 3 columns, and it will look completely different. Now that you got a little bit of taste of what it takes to work with the Thrive Architect Builder, I want to go back to this template library and start with a pre-made template so that you understand how it is. It can be much easier if you start with a pre-made template. I just want to give an idea of what it takes without a template. So this cloud icon with an arrow is where you can bring templates from the Thrive theme templates in the cloud. And they have sets of templates. So you may recognize this set as the one that we're using on our own agency website. So each set you can click and expand and see what it includes. A word of warning, a template can look really great, but when it comes to your own business, it may end up, if you need to change the pictures and the colors, it's still going to be quite a bit of work. It's not that you get a template and boom, that's it, that's what you're going to use. But it's a great starting point. And yeah, so let me just take one of them, which I like. Let me take this one, the Chic homepage. It's pretty easy to work with, and so I like it. Now when I do that, it actually overrides everything that I've done so far, so you have to be careful not to just change template and not, if you're not sure that you want to get rid of what you've already had there. So this is what it did. It installed an entire page. Everything has this placeholder text, and if this design is what you wanted, then you can basically just go and change the images and the text, and you're all set. I find that it's rarely the case. Every business has their own idea of what kind of text they want and what sections they want to have, but there is a lot that is ready here and you can use. For example, this is a background section, and let me show you how it is built. So there is the background style that is built out of one image. That is, you can see it behind this picture, and then they have a linear gradient that is built by 4 dots. So from here to here is mostly this pink, and then it's a very, very light overlay of black. So if you were to change you have your own colors, you can just play with that. Let's do that. So I'm gonna, but let me cancel for a minute because I do need my colors. I'll take, just need the number here. So I can go back and change this one so that it's, this is just it. You're not gonna see it, but when the page loads, sometimes you see this color first, so you want to update it. The linear gradient is what is the most important here. So let me change. You see it will change as I go along. I'm going to keep the opacity that they have here. So we're going to, but I have to be careful. So there are two dots here. One is the black one, which I'm going to, so black exactly. Actually, it's the same color, but the opacity is much lower. And this one, I give it the same opacity, but I want them to be exactly on top of each other. And now you see I got this effect of the gradient that is built in a very interesting way. I'm also going to change the color of this button to be maybe the gray. Of course, I mean, it is up to you what colors you want. And you probably want to change the image because it's not yours, and so on. So, but so the last thing I want to show you today is how to add an opt-in form by using the Thrive Leads tool. So if you're here in the Thrive Architect and you're building a page, if you scroll all the way down and you have Thrive Leads installed and you've already defined opt-in forms on the Thrive Leads side, you can drag and drop a Thrive Leads object, and it gives me a drop down with everything that I've prepared before. And here I have the form ready to go. The styling is managed in the Thrive Leads environment, and it is exactly the same as the Thrive Architect environment. So if I want this button to be here on the right, I can have it on the right. I can do with this form whatever I want. And it can, again, it is edited with the Thrive Architect, which gives you a great flexibility, especially if you work with email marketing systems that have ugly forms. When you use the Thrive Leads, you can make those ugly forms look really nice and professional. So yeah, let's just save our work and take a last look at what we have created. So this is the page. Again, it's a template. It has a lot of content here. You will want to work and change it if you want to make it yours, but it can look really great at the end of the day. So hope you've learned something. If you want to learn more, come back here. We will be publishing more educational videos every week. Feel free to subscribe to my channel and join the Build That Funnel Facebook group. And most important, if you have any questions, let me know and I'll do my best to answer. So have a great day.